A lot of people are asking me what Adèle is looking for, why she is acting like she is acting, why she's destroying her life, although she has it all. But actually, you know, as a writer, I don't know why she's acting like she's acting, and I don't know what she's looking for, as I don't know what I am looking for. I think that we don't know each other, and I think that we stay a mystery to one another. And as a writer, I accept that. I have no problem with that. And as a reader also, that's what I like when I read a novel, is that part of mystery that exists in each human being. The idea that you can completely understand or completely control someone is very dangerous to me, and it's close to fascism. I like the idea that we don't understand why people act like they act. First time I read The Unbearable Lightness of Being, I was 15, and it was in the north of Morocco in a house we had near the beach. And I think that my mother hid the book because she didn't want me to read it, but I found the book and I read it. And I think that was the first time I was sexually aroused by a book. I can remember the erotic scene, the images were so strong. And the way he described the relationship between the two main characters, Thomas, who is a womanizer, a man who has a sort of sex addiction, and Teresa, his lover, it was fascinating for me. And I love the tenderness he has for his characters, the fact that he says human being is weak. And there is a sort of lightness in being, even though life is very hard and we know we are going to die, we are only obsessed by sex and love and very light things. And that's what's wonderful with the human condition. It's hard, but at the same time, it's very light. There are a lot of references to Madame Bovary in the book, of course. There is Normandy, the fact that they live in Normandy, the fact that her husband is a doctor. But I think that Madame Bovary is very universal and very intemporel. Anyone can understand it, because there is this question about women who are married, who has a child, have a beautiful house, and everyone is going to say, okay, she has it all, now she's supposed to be happy. But the truth is, Madame Bovary, like Anna Karenine, like Thérèse d'Esquerou, like many great heroines of literature, they want more. And that question is very important. Is a woman allowed to want more than what she has and what is supposed to make her happy? And for Adèle, the question, of course, is very relevant too. She wants more, but she doesn't know what she wants. Adèle and Louise in Lullaby have a lot in common. First thing is that they are silent. They don't speak. If you read the book very precisely, you will see that they really don't use a lot of words. They are absolutely unable to speak out and to ask for help, to say, I'm not okay, I'm lonely, I'm depressed, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm lost, I think I'm going to do something very wrong. The big difference between the two of them is probably that Adèle has, in a certain way, she knows how to survive because she has her husband, she has her son. She tries to resist to her addiction, and she says, okay, now I'm going to love my husband, I'm going to love my son, and I'm going to be a respectable woman and to have a very nice and normal life. So she's torn away between two different things. So the title in French is Dans le jardin de l'ogre, and the title in English is Adèle. I don't really regret the fact that we changed the title, because I think that a publisher knows what he does, and if he thinks that the translation in English will not be okay and that the public will not understand it, I completely trust my publisher. But yes, the truth is that Dans le jardin de l'ogre gives this fairy tale impression. And actually I was inspired by my son, because I was telling a fairy tale every night to my son, and the part he loved the most was the part with the ogre. And at the end of the story he was always saying, oh, please stay with me because now I'm afraid of the ogre. And I was like, you asked for this story, so why now are you telling me you can't sleep? And it made me conscious that as children, but also as adults, very often we want things that we are afraid of. We want danger and we want the ogre to come into our garden because that's what excites us. But at the same time, we know that maybe it's going to destroy everything. So I wanted to ask this question: why do we want so much to deal with dangerous things? My favorite monsters in literature are probably the characters in Dostoevsky's novels. Starovigin, who is a rapist and monster, Raskolnikov in Crime and Punishment. They are wonderful monsters. And to be honest, I think that we are all monsters. We all have a monster inside of us. Some of us are able to control it and some are not. In certain point of view, in the point of view of the bourgeoisie and the moral society of the 19th century, Emma Bovary is a monster. Anna Karenine is a monster because she's unable to respect her husband and to just be happy with what she has. So it depends on which side of the barrier you're at, because we always judge people as monsters, and I love monsters. I think that being a journalist helped me a lot to write fiction, because when you are a reporter, you need to observe everything. You need to be very attentive to the very tiny details, to look how people walk in the street, how they take a cab, how they grab a cup of coffee in a little cafe in the street. So I think that it helped me to develop my observation sense. But for concerning my style and the fact that my style is very clinical with very short sentences, I think that it's because of the subject of Adèle, of the topic, because it would have been very difficult to be lyrical or too poetic with a theme like sex addiction. I needed to be very clinical so that I don't judge Adèle. There is no judgment, no moral in the book, just description of what she's doing. I decided to work as a journalist for a newspaper, and then one day I thought, oh, now I'm 30 and maybe I will be 40, saying to my friends, you know, one day I'm going to write a novel, and then I will be 50 and I will never write this novel. So I need to try, at least to try, and if I don't succeed, okay, so I'll know that I will never be a writer. So I went to see my boss and I said, okay, I'm quitting and I want to write a fiction, I want to write a novel. And at that time I had a son, and he was only like 6 months or something like that. And he said, oh, good for you, so you're going to stay home with your son, that's very good. I said, no, I told you, I'm going to write a book. Oh, your son is so lucky, he's going to have his mommy at home. And I was so scandalized and so outraged about what he said that I wrote this book as a revenge to show him that I was not going home to take care of my son, but to write. If I had to describe a typical day at home, I don't take a shower. I'm in pajamas until 4 in the afternoon, just before I have to take my son at school, and I'm like, I have to take him at school, so I put my jeans, something on my head because I didn't take my shower in the morning, and I smoke, and try to write something, but that's a mess, and that's not something organized, because I could tell you that I wake up very early and drink a cup of tea and then I write, but that's not true. Winning the Prix Goncourt was like a dream come true, but at the same time, I was so surprised. It was so weird to win this prize at 35 with a book that was not supposed to win such a prize, because it's a book about women and about babies and nannies, so it's not like big literature, it's not about the war, it's not about history, like a man literature, you know. I never believed completely that I won the Goncourt Prize, and I think that it's good. I shouldn't believe that I really won it. It's not only the fact that I won the prize, it was the fact that I was a young woman that was from Morocco, from a Muslim country, that I was fighting for the rights of women, for the freedom of speech in my country. So I became sort of an icon without wanting it. The good thing with that is that now some Moroccan, Algerian or Tunisian girl think that maybe one day they will be on the cover of Elle. As one student told me, it's possible to conquer the world even if you come from Maghreb. It has been several years I'm fighting to be a free woman and to be selfish. And at the beginning it was just speech, I was just saying that, but not doing it in my real life. But since I won the Prix Goncourt, I travel a lot and I leave my children at home and I have to leave them with my husband or with the nanny. And so I act selfish, and at the beginning I felt very guilty. But now I try not to feel guilty and not to express this guilt, because I think that a man would not feel as guilty as I do, and that a man would think that it's completely normal. He won a prize and now he has to travel all over the world and everyone should be happy for his success. And I think I should do the same. There is no reason why I should feel so guilty about that. So yes, I'm selfish. I think that women shouldn't feel that it's wrong or bad to do that.